Hi, I'm Kelly Hill, nutritional therapy practitioner at The Right Plan, your guide to optimal health from the inside out. Welcome to the Leafy Green video series. In this episode, I'll be telling you all about the nutrition powerhouse that is spinach. Leafy greens are some of the most vitamin and nutrient-dense whole foods we can eat, but most people aren't consuming near enough. We need to eat vegetables, especially leafy greens, every day because they provide an incredible amount of health-promoting, water-soluble vitamins. These are vitamins our bodies can't store or only store in small amounts, so we have to consume them each and every day. We're going to start with what I think is the powerhouse of vegetables, spinach. But the only spinach I ever ate growing up was from a can. It was slimy, like something you'd see floating on top of a pond when we went fishing. And it tasted about the same as what I thought that floating pond scum would taste like. I wouldn't touch spinach for years until I learned how to properly prepare it. Eating raw vegetables is good, but lightly cooking vegetables can enhance their flavor and nutritional benefits, which we'll discuss. Overcooking, though, reduces the flavor and can cause the loss of many healthy vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, as well as alter the structure of the protein and fiber, and making it look like that floating pond scum. It's a delicate balance, but once achieved, you'll be surprised how delicious leafy green vegetables can be. First, why spinach? Spinach is an excellent source of plant-based iron and at least 13 different phytonutrients for antioxidant protection. It's packed with nutrient richness like vitamins A, 4 different types of vitamin B, vitamin C, and vitamin K, plus manganese, folate, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and fiber. And that's just the top of the list. Spinach is a truly nutrient-dense whole food. There are a variety of types of spinach. The most popular is flat leaf, which has large, smooth leaves, is very tender, and pretty sweet. Even the stems are tender. You'll usually find this sold in bags or bulk with the stems removed. Curly, or Savoy spinach, is usually sold in bunches. The leaves are a bit smaller, have a bit of curl to them, and the root end sometimes has a reddish color. The texture is a bit more firm, so it's great cooked, but not the best to use in raw salads. Baby spinach is just immature flat leaf. It's mildly sweet and very tender. You'll usually find this in stores packaged in bags or sold in bulk with the stems included. This is the best spinach for salads and should be eaten raw. It's really too tender for cooking. Frozen spinach is gaining popularity. It's picked at the peak of ripeness, blanched and frozen. The flavor isn't as strong as fresh, but it's great for adding to recipes by just defrosting it. I have a fabulous spinach frittata recipe on the website that uses frozen spinach perfectly. Now, one downside of spinach for many people is that it is a highly concentrated source of oxalates. There are a few rare health conditions which require strict oxalate restriction. There's a more common health condition where people are overly susceptible to kidney stone formation. Research has been inconclusive if dietary restrictions of oxalates reduces the risk of kidney stone formation, but follow your practitioner's recommendations. Now, another area of potential concern is the high amount of vitamin K in spinach, as well as all the leafy greens. People taking specific blood thinning medications have to pay attention to the amount of vitamin K they consume. Again, follow your practitioner's recommendations. Leafy greens won't probably be off your plate, but the amount you consume may need to be consistent each day, and that's no problem because we have you covered here with a variety of ways to eat your leafy greens. For the majority of people who don't have these specific health conditions, the benefits of adding dark leafy greens to your meal plans are numerous. And I'll come back to how to reduce oxalates in the cooking process. As we discussed in the shopping guide videos, look for vibrant, bright green leaves with fresh, crisp stems. No yellow, no wilted, no bruised leaves, no slimy coatings. Don't wash the spinach or any leafy greens until you're ready to eat it. This will help it last longer. Spinach is one of the foods that I would only purchase organically grown. It's always one of the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen that contain the highest pesticide residues when conventionally grown. There's also less risk of E. coli bacteria when grown organically. Conventionally grown spinach can use raw animal manure at any time during the growing cycle. Organically grown spinach cannot use it less than 120 days prior to harvesting, which helps prevent contamination. Spinach should be washed very well. The leaves and stems tend to collect sand and soil. Trim off the roots, separate the leaves. Place the spinach in a large bowl of water and swish with your hands to remove any dirt. Repeat 2 or 3 times until there's no dirt residue and the water runs clear. Don't leave any leaves in the water because nutrients can leach out. Spinach sold in bags has been pre-washed and only needs to be rinsed. If you're going to use your spinach in a salad, dry it using a salad spinner so you don't dilute the dressing. One of the main reasons people avoid cooked spinach is because it's usually overcooked. When you create that pond scum, about 50% of the nutrients are lost. Disgusting and not as nutritious. That's a no-win. According to investigators at Rutgers University that presented their findings at the annual meeting of the American Chemical Society, the availability and absorption rate of iron increased between 10 to 15% when vegetables were cooked rather than raw. This isn't a lot, but I think it's an interesting reason as to why we need to consume both raw and cooked vegetables. My preference is a very quick boil, between 30 seconds and a minute. This is for full leaf spinach, not baby spinach. Eat your baby spinach raw, and I'm going to show you a fast, tasty, highly nutritious salad with baby spinach in another segment. Now, a quick boil is just enough to soften the cellulose and hemicellulose fibers, so it's easier to digest and the nutrients are more readily available for absorption. This also kills any E. coli bacteria that might have contaminated the spinach. Boiling without the cover on also reduces the oxalates. The sweet taste is still there, but no slimy, stringy, disgusting texture. Boiling is best because the oxalates will leach into the water and the air, reducing oxalates by between 5 and 15%. I know this isn't a tremendous amount, but it's a benefit for those who have to restrict their oxalate intake. I'm not a fan of steaming spinach as it creates a slightly bitter taste, and I don't like sauteing either, except sometimes after the boiling if you're including certain ingredients, like in my spinach with raisin and nuts recipe, which is on the website. Spinach doesn't contain enough liquid, so you end up having to saute it in a lot of added fat. Now, as you know, I'm not against fat. It's just that most sauteing uses high temperature that can damage oils and potentially create harmful free radicals. Not good for our health. Plus, when sauteed, the oxalates in spinach are intensified. So it's just not the best cooking method. Stick with a quick boil for best nutrient absorption. After cooking, spinach should be bright and green. Usually boiling isn't the preferred method of cooking vegetables, but we want to remove oxalates as best we can. So don't use the water for anything else afterwards. This is a time when you just toss the water. The question of stems always comes up. The nutrient content of stems is based on a lot of variables, and it's kind of all over the board, but they do contain lots of fiber, even more so than the leaves. So eat them if you'd like, or discard them if you want. Most of the time the stems are tender and can be cooked right with the leaves. Spinach is available year-round in most areas. It has the sweetest, crispest leaves in the winter when frost gives it the most flavor. In warmer months or climates, spinach is a bit tougher, so expect to cook it a little more. After your 30-second to 1-minute boil, make sure you spin the cooked spinach to remove excess water. You don't want to dilute any of your dressing or add in flavors. Toss with the dressing while it's still hot. Now remember, you must add a fat to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins that are abundant in spinach. Make sure it's a high-quality oil because you don't want to cause any free radicals. We're using the spinach to get rid of free radicals and increase our health, not make it worse. Some of my favorites are a mixture of avocado or extra virgin olive oil with lemon juice, pressed garlic, salt, and pepper. Or try extra virgin olive oil and coconut aminos. Olive oil and balsamic vinegar, oil and apple cider vinegar, plus a little pressed garlic, paprika, cinnamon. Additionally, you can add in things like Kalamata olives and chopped sun-dried tomatoes for a Mediterranean feel, or chopped avocados with pine nuts, walnuts, cashews, really any nut. Add a bit of sweetness with raisins, or make it creamy with feta cheese or goat cheese. Add it to eggs for breakfast, or try onion, chili peppers, fresh grated nutmeg, roasted red peppers, curry powder, turmeric. The options are limitless. One of the greatest things about spinach is that the taste is very mild, so it will absorb the flavors you add to it. So think about your favorite flavors, then add a bit of fat and you have a dressing for your spinach. You could eat cooked spinach almost every day and experience a completely different flavor. For more videos just like these, healthy recipes, articles, forums, nutrition tips, and Q&A support, visit therightnutritionplan.com. And remember, everything you eat has a purpose and a plan. Make it your purpose and the right plan.